Hello, friends, and welcome to the Friendors podcast, a podcast by wedding vendors for wedding vendors. I'm your host, Shawn Miller, owner and founder of Young, Hip, and Married and Professional Wedding Officiants. Each week, I interview my friends from the wedding industry, and we talk about life as a wedding vendor, how they got started, challenges they faced along the way. If you're a vendor, you know we got to throw in a few chaotic stories. Thanks so much for being here, and let's dive into the episode.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Good to be here.
I've known you from the very first wedding show we ever did with Young, Hip, and Married. You were hosting it at the Brockhouse.
Brockhouse. It was Brockhouse's show, I think.
2010. But were you not running it?
In 2010?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like you might have been running
for
it.
Brockhouse.
Oh, okay. You were running it for Brockhouse.
Right. So when I started at Brockhouse in, I think it was 99, as the catering manager.
You started in 99?
At Brockhouse, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Fresh out of high school or what?
College.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was 21.
And what did you study?
Hospitality management.
Okay, so that was a natural fit.
Yeah, and it was catering coordinator was
How'd
the
you get the
advertised.
job?
Well, I was working at Blue Horizon Hotel.
Okay, on Robson.
On Robson.
That's still there.
Yes. Is it? I don't even know if it's still there. Yeah, so I was working their graveyard shift.
Okay.
And there was fax machines back then.
Isn't that crazy to think?
It's crazy. And it was quiet. It wasn't that I was shirking my responsibilities. It was just a quiet moment. So I was looking through the classified paper, and I see catering.
The classified paper, like the Georgia Strait.
Something like that. Yeah. And so just catering coordinator wanted fax resume too. It didn't say what it was for. Place. It didn't say the place.
Fax resume too.
So I just from the hotel faxed my resume to Brockhouse is what I found out. And then they ended up calling and asked me to come in for an interview. And then the fact that it was Brockhouse was sort of sweet in that my mom, we used to live near Brockhouse, and my mom loved that place.
Yeah.
And had always said I should get married there, So it was just sort of, and my mom wasn't around at that point. So it was just sort of like, fortuitous, and it felt special. So went and did my interview. And then when I walk in, Danny was there, the owner of Brockhouse Restaurant. And I was like, I've been here before. And he was my parents' landlord.
No way.
So we had dropped rent checks off there. So it was just like, so it was all this. Anyway, so I started there. A month in, I realized that it may have been catering coordinator, and I was young, but I was very ambitious.
Right.
And I was the only one in the office. There was this lovely bookkeeper and accountant, Brenda, who worked there, and Danny. Yeah. And that was it. That was in the attic of Brockhouse. So about a month in, I walk into Danny's office and I go, I don't need a raise. I'm not asking for a raise a month in, but I want a job title change. I want to be catering manager.
Right.
And so he was just like, okay,
yeah, sure.
He was like, sure, you want that? That's no problem. So I did it, and I said, and I want contract signing authority because you're never here, and it's holding things up.
How old were you at the time?
21.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You were getting after it.
I was like,
this is what we're doing here.
I need to get these done, and I just have all these contracts to get signed. So I didn't like to have. It's like a zero inbox. Yeah. Before there was zero inbox, but it was like I didn't want to.
Do you still practice zero inbox?
I do a little bit because I find my personality, like if I have things in my inbox, sometimes you can't control all of it because things you can't deal with right away. But for the most part, I rest better and I can turn things off better if I don't have things
When I found out about zero inbox or inbox zero, I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, that's it, inbox zero.
It changed everything for me because I used to just leave all my email, like I'd read them and I'd leave them, and then you just get a slew of messages.
So overwhelming.
And it's just, you'd look at your email and be overwhelming. But like once I started that practice of like clearing my emails, archiving them so they're available if you could search them, but not having them in the inbox, like game changer. Yeah. Absolute game changer. Okay, so you get catering manager at the Brockhouse.
And they did a show at the time, and they'd been doing it for several years, and it was like a afternoon tea wedding show, very sweet. The conservatory, there's this beautiful glass room on the water, as you know, and it was a very casual show, afternoon show. And I just was like, well, let's do something fun and different, just as you do when you come in with fresh eyes. And so we did an evening cocktail jazz wedding show. And that was the first sort of unique
was your
one.
idea?
Yeah. And it was fun. And it was different from the time, for that time, because there was no shows like boutique shows. There were not nearly as many. There was the big shows at the convention center, but there weren't as many of these stylized, cute shows.
Right.
So we did that, and it was great, and we built, just a new decade of vendor interaction and engagement, and and then fast forward when Sarah, who was my business partner with DreamGroup, and I'd gone to school with her at hospitality management, and then she'd gone off to university in
when did DreamGroup start?
2004.
Okay, so you're at Brockhouse 5 years.
6, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 6.
Yeah.
So, something like that.
Something like that.
And 3 years in, we got so busy that I needed help. So Sarah was finishing her degree over in UVic, didn't have anything to do, and I said, hey, come and help me. She did, and then the two of us just did our thing at Brockhouse for another 3 years.
Okay.
And we worked really well together, as we did in school. And then, one day, many times over, we had these little, what do they say? The feather, then the brick. And it's like you wake up and realize what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So one day, Danny says, after this family left, when are you guys going to start your own wedding planning company? And Sarah was just like, yes. She's like, that's what we're doing. And I was looking at my mountain of work on my desk. And I loved working for Danny. I loved working for Brockhouse. And so, it was just something greater.
What a good boss.
He was. Right? He is to this day. He's wonderful. Not my boss, but he's my friend.
But when I started Young, Hip, and Married, I left my job at the bank, started Young, Hip, and Married, and I took a job moonlighting tables at the Keg, serving tables, because I was like, I need to make some extra money.
Yeah, cash is key.
And then I was there for 4 years, and my boss would let me take the summers off, because it would get to about this time, end of April, I'd be like, okay, wedding season's up. I'm like, I'll be back end of September, right? I got a busy summer for weddings. And so he would give me the 4 months off. They hire people for the summer, and then I'd come back during the slow season. And then this once in 2014, I was like, okay, George, I need to take the summer off. And he's like, you're fired. And I was like, what? He's like, Shawn, if I don't fire you, you're just going to keep coming back here. He's like, you're going to be fine. You're fired.
Good boss.
You can't come back. And then he's like, of course, if you ever need money, come back. But he's like, you're going to be fine. I'm taking you off payroll.
Sometimes you need to do that.
And I was like, what a good boss, right? He really championed me and believed in me. But that's something that, from the little that I know, you've done for a lot of planners in this city. You were great from what I see it. We work together beautifully, but you've championed a lot of planners in this city that have started a DreamGroup and then grown and grown and grown and kind of been like, okay,
if somebody were to ask me what is your most proud thing, that's probably, I would say, my most proud thing is, just being able to be a positive reinforcement to what people want to do.
That's amazing.
And it's genuine, because I love it. I get a kick out of being somebody's mentor, and in the moment, it's never deliberate.
Right.
It's not like I'm going to do this today.
No, and it has to be the right person and all that sort of stuff, right?
But over the years, if I look back and I think about what am I most proud of, it is seeing the people that started at DreamGroup that were either directly or indirectly mentored and then went off and started it, and, and we have solid relationships with them. And it's awesome.
It's a pretty cool feeling. We have an officiant that used to work for us that branched off and do his own thing, moved to Nova Scotia, but it's started this whole big thing, and it's you got to start with us, and there's a little element of pride. You're like, I'm got to be a little bit a part of that, right? And it's a great feeling.
I heard something recently. This is I sometimes don't remember my sources, but I heard something.
Because you hear it everywhere, TikTok, Instagram,
it was,
YouTube,
podcasts. CBC Radio or something like that, which is always on in my car. And and they were just talking about how if you get to the end of your life, what do you want to, the quintessential, the saying, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to remember? And I'm like, well, to have had some sort of impact on people. And that was never a goal, but it is really nice to think that you were able to positively influence and help.
And it's encourage. It's not like an intrinsic goal that you're like, I'm going to do this. But I think, someone like yourself, it's part of your ethos, right? It's part of what you do. It's like, you do planning, obviously, because you're good at it and you love it. But it also impacts people's lives,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it's a business where it's like the work we do, oftentimes our clients are in and out. It's like we see them for a season, and as a planner, like, you know, you're build deep relationships, right, with your clientele. And then you get to be a part of their lives for a season and, you know, host one of the most important days in their lives. Maybe
But you know who the biggest relationships are with? The industry.
The industry.
The frienders, the vendors.
The friendors.
I mean, and we see them over and over again, and you work with ones over and over again that you genuinely like, right?
We don't see enough of each other. Like, we're always, because we're always working, right? Like, we're like colleague adjacent, right? Because for me, I show up at a wedding, I'm like, oh, Genève's here. Oh, you know, Jeff and Kat are here. Or like, oh, like, and we like shake hands, but we're all like, we're busy doing our thing. So we grab a hug and a handshake. I was like, oh, good, okay, good. And then the wedding's over. Okay, see ya. You know, we just,
it's kind of like the friend that you don't see every day, but every time you see each other, you pick up. It's kind of like that in a way, right? Where you all have a job to do. You're all really good at it because that's why you're there.
Yeah.
And everyone just knows they have a purpose. Yeah. And it's magic.
Yeah, it is. When
you have the right vendor lineup, that's actually one of my other favorite things. And
when you see the good lineup, you're like, this is going to be a great wedding.
Yeah, or if you had as a planner, you know, you were involved in helping to bring it together. Because in full planning, you are more.
You're the rainmaker.
With day of, you're sometimes influential at the last moment or feathering in ideas. So it's never as much your control. Right. But if I could say to a couple, how do I have a great wedding? Yeah. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's like hire great vendors.
It's a great team.
But not just great vendors who do good work. Great vendors.
Yeah.
Because they will do everything in their power to give you a beautiful experience. Yeah. And not just that, when you're in a room with other vendors who are like that, those other vendors want to not just impress, but want to work with the other person and make magic together. And all of that, it's like, so fun. Oh yeah, it's the best.
I always tell my team, you know, when people are applying to be an officiant, I'm always like, yes, we do this as a living, like this is a job, but like you don't get into this line of work unless you love it.
No,
like it's
not a money-making business.
No. Like, you know, we make a living at it. But it's also like your heart has to be in it, right? Because you know, we get the vendor curveballs, right? And you know, we get the phone calls and the conversations, and it's an emotional day and emotional decisions, and you know, you got to love it.
Oh, you have to love it. And I mean, I think that's why, like, I mean, we've been around, this is our 21st year, and we've been around enough.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm calling it 20 plus 1 because 21 sounds old. So I'm like 20 plus 1, we're starting over.
Love it.
But you know, when you've seen as many planners, like we've had a lot of planners come through, not a ton, like we don't have a revolving door. Like that's another thing I'm proud of is that the planners that we do have.
You've got longevity.
6 to 15 years is how many years we have our planner team right now. And we made it through COVID and, you know, all of that. And I just think that in order to be successful, whether you call that money, because it's not usually in our industry all about the money, but if it's called success to you, whatever that looks like, it's because you love it. And there are planners that I've seen over the years who get into it because they think, oh, it's so fun. It's so fun to get into weddings and be around brides and flowers and, you know, and yes, it is fun, but that's not going to keep you in the industry because that wears off. You've seen enough flowers, you've seen enough cake, you've seen enough happy tears. That all goes away. So what keeps those people there that are there long? It comes back to the industry and the connection you have with the industry and the pride in making that point in a couple's life incredible. Because they're going to move on. In that, I mean, that's the other thing is like, you know, being a planner, you get to be a part of something that usually the most exciting moment in a couple's life to that point as a couple. That changes these days because sometimes couples buy houses and have kids before. And
I just married a couple that were together 27 years.
There you go. So it's, you know, but for the most part, it's like, it's big.
Yeah, it's big. Well, especially the weddings you work on.
Yeah. And you get to be a part of that moment in their lives. And then you wrap it up with a nice little bow and send them on their way. And then you get to do it again.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting to be able to continually bring joy and also incorporate people that you love in the industry into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because that's my favorite part too, is hand selecting and choosing people and going, their personalities, they're going to vibe, and certainly it's budget and availability, and there's all those
it's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle piece, but the best part is like my favorite thing to hear from couples, and I hear it all the time, is they go, you chose, like, I'm not sure how you did it, but you lined us up with the most perfect people.
Experience.
And that always is like a little feather in my cap. And I'm like, that's because I know. So
there's no shortage of that, right? There's no not shortage of that, but like there's no duplicate for that. Like you have such a wealth of experience, and I think maintaining these good relationships like you do, which was so evident at the Engage show that you put on, right? Because you it was so amazing.
Magic.
It was magic. It was magic. But you really curated that show in a way that like I kept finding myself like drawn away from my booth because I'm like, oh, so-and-so's here. Oh, so like it was like I was almost like at times I was like, I want the couples to go away. I want to just go visit with everybody because we are all in together. But the vibe of that show, and we've had a number of couples that have booked us from that show, which was amazing.
Nice.
But also I think the couples can feel that. Like at that show, it was. I don't know. There was something very special about it.
A lot of things aligned that day. And when we were looking at doing a new show, some people were like, that's crazy. We don't need, like, what?
Another wedding show, really?
Yeah, or even just, do you want to do that to yourself?
Right.
And, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Right.
I was like, it's a lot of work. Mainly a lot of work because you ask vendors to invest.
Yeah.
Not just money, because we don't charge a fortune to be in that show, but time and effort, and you want it to be successful because the industry's watching.
Yeah.
So there's that whole stress layer, because I wasn't really so worried about creating something for the brides and grooms, because we've done it enough to know what you need, which is great vendors, organization, nice experience, good venue, all of those things. But if we were going to do this show, and we all agreed, like all of the planners, we all agreed that if we're going to do a show, it needs to be a DreamGroup authentic show. It's not going to be for another reason, which was like with Bridal Swap for years, it was about secondhand resale, like selling the decor, and that was the priority. And then with the Brockhouse show, it's Brockhouse's show. And like I was saying earlier, when I left Brockhouse did their own show for a year, and it just it
fizzled.
It fizzled maybe a little, and then he said, "Come back and do it." So that's why Sarah and I came back and did it, and then that's when we met.
Yeah, that's when we met, 2010.
But that was the whole thing with Engaged, was to create a space like it did happen.
It did
on the day where I could look up and I saw vendors that I know and I respect, and that I know respect each other.
Yeah,
and it proved exactly what my goal was, which was to have a place where people weren't just there because they paid to be there, but because they were chosen and because they were part of something.
It's the first show that I went to where that was very evident, where it was almost built like upside down. Like you built the show by picking the right vendors to be there.
Yes.
And that created something really special that was like not tangible, but was very much felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally felt. And I'm already like, I can't wait to do Engaged again. I hope she's doing it again because it was super fun. It was super fun. And
then we got the weather.
But I also loved how, I don't want to say crammed, but sometimes shows are really spaced out. Yeah. Where there's like so much space and the booths are really far apart, and it's like, it doesn't feel, people are kind of meandering through. It was like full and happening.
Yeah, but not too full.
No, it was the right, because there was a buzz. There was a tangible buzz going on. Yeah, I keep looking at that glass. I'm like, how long till it goes over? I'm going to put it there. So bringing it back to the beginning. So how did you come up with the name DreamGroup? Do you remember?
Yes, well, I didn't. So when Sarah and I first started DreamGroup, we had a different name.
What was the name? Do you remember? Do you want to say?
Yes. So it was an event to remember, I believe, because there was a planner who's one of my wedding planner mentors. Her name is Ursula. Her name is Ursula Evans.
Okay.
She's no longer a wedding planner. This was many years ago, but she had a day to remember, and then she was closing up her business, and Sarah and I were starting ours, and she had said, oh, you could have our name. And then we were like, oh, well, we'll tweak it a little. Cause Sarah and I were like, we want to be independent and, have a bit of our own name. So we called it An Event to Remember. And then very quickly, within a couple months, Ursula decided to sell it. Oh. And so it was too similar. And so we were like, okay, so now we have to come up with a new name. Right. And we tried everything. And oh my God, we had our, my now husband, we had, people involved in helping us batting ideas and one of the names we came up with was Cold Feet Wedding Planning. Please. I'm so glad we didn't do that. Right. And we realized we shouldn't because the only people that were excited about that name were the men. Right. All of the women were just like, that's a horrible name. So I was like, it's funny, it's tongue in cheek. It's no, people weren't ready. So we didn't go that route. And Sarah had a web design company that she had called DreamGroup. Oh. Back from her university, she had to create a business.
You're right. Yeah,
and,
for part of her.
And she did it because she liked the idea of, if it was just her, she liked the idea of DreamGroup because it made it feel bigger. Right. Right. So that was her little thing. But I didn't want it because it wasn't ours. It was hers. And so I pushed back on it. And I'm like, we came up with all these other names. I can't even remember now. There were so many different options. And finally, nothing stuck. Right. And then she goes like, what do you think? Like, let's try this. Right. And so we did it. And it was the right name. That was the right decision. It was the right name. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So that was, when did you started in 2004? Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we started it in 2004, and I think it was like July, maybe end of June, July of 2004, we did our first wedding. Okay. I couldn't work it. I can't remember why. I think I was away. So Sarah did it, and it was a family friend of mine. So it was very organic. That was our first wedding. And then 3 months later, I left Brockhouse, and 3 months later, Sarah left Brockhouse, because we had 27 weddings out of the gate when we started.
Out of the gate when you started.
Yeah.
How?
It was.
Because this is like 2004, so like no social media.
No.
Google started in 01 or 2. Like Google was kind of just becoming a thing.
Yeah. It was very.
So how did the name get out?
It was because.
Yeah, you got a little. Something
I showered, I promise.
No, it's just, I don't know, a little black fly or something. Yeah.
You're
not fanning yourself.
Not mainly. It was because for 6 years, Brockhouse was probably the most popular wedding venue in Vancouver. We did about 6 to 8 weddings a weekend. Yeah. And my job as a catering manager wasn't to be a planner. Right. It was, I had the stacks of like the Complete Wedding Directory and Perfect Wedding and, Real Wedding magazines, hard tangible magazines, and everyone's business cards on my little desk in the office. And I would, I'd go, here's a great cake person, and here's a great florist, and here's a great photographer, and here's a magazine.
All the connections.
Right, but I was doing it just because I was a catering manager and I wanted to be helpful in my office in that little moment where I had those couples there. Yeah. So I would just do that. So then doing that for many years, and the show, meeting vendors, and when Sarah and I started the company and said, we contacted all the vendors in Vancouver and said, we're starting our wedding planning company. And granted, there was way less wedding planning companies back then. Right. Like probably a dozen, versus not many. 50, right? So, or more. Right.
The barrier to entry was greater.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just. It wasn't as popular of a thing. In Vancouver.
What was new, right? It was like a new, I get it.
It was around, but it was sort of like something you would do. Out
like
of your
side
house.
hustle,
a side hustle. Right. That's what we would call it now, right? So it was a side hustle, whereas over the years it's become a full-fledged career for many people. And but anyway, so went out, said to everybody, we're starting our cute little company, and everybody just
came in, supported you. Right? And that's a testament to again, bringing it back to the relationship element, like to have other vendors, like you develop those key relationships. Yeah. Treated them well, gave to all of them without the expectation of return as to be helpful. Yeah. And then, when you started, like that's a testament to the work you did with them, that it just came back to you. Like 27 weddings in your first year is unbelievable.
It was. Yeah.
And I
we were
imagine
shocked.
overwhelming. Was it like exciting, overwhelming?
It was exciting.
Yeah.
If I think back, I don't think I was overwhelmed.
Did you have kids at the time? You married at the time?
Didn't have kids at the time. Married. So got married in March of 2004.
Where did you get married?
Brockhouse.
You did?
Yes.
Well,
it's very hard to work in his venue and hand off the reins, right? So, and then Danny was so kind and he was
absolutely.
like, we'll make this happen. So no, I was
no regrets.
Very,
Did you get married under the tree inside? Where'd you get married?
Under the tent.
Under the tent.
In March.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it was under the tent, 6 or 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then we did our reception in the conservatory.
Yeah, great.
I think it was like 90 people.
Yeah. Nice.
It was lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're married, no kids.
Married, no
Starting
kids.
a new business.
Yeah. It's funny because I joke now and I go, everybody wants to be a wedding planner and everybody thinks they could just be a wedding planner. This isn't a dark day when I'm frustrated.
Yeah. The same thing, I hear the same thing from photographers. Like everyone who's got a camera is a photographer, right?
And I go, somebody gets married and then they want to be a wedding planner.
Right.
I got married and then I became a wedding planner.
Yeah.
So I kind of did
But you were kind of you were already.
Yes.
You were very much a planner.
I was in the industry.
Like you were like planner adjacent.
Yes.
Right?
Planner adjacent.
Right?
Yeah, I was.
Then it seems like a very natural transition.
It was.
But it was never the plan.
For me?
Yeah. When you went to hospitality management? No. Did you want to get into hotels?
I wanted to be, when I went to VCC, hospitality management, once I got in there and they teach you all the different elements and areas of hospitality. And my goal early on was to be the GM of the Hotel Georgia.
Okay.
That was my ambitious plan.
Yeah. It wasn't great hotel, beautiful place.
Beautiful hotel, and this was pre all the renovations. This was the old Hotel Georgia, which I loved. But that was kind of my ideas. I loved the elegance of the hotel, the historic sort of feel, and I loved the idea of being in charge of that. So that was my goal.
Okay.
And then worked at Hotel Vancouver for my work placement between first and second year. It's a 2-year diploma program. So did that.
The Fairmont?
Yeah. Front desk and then graveyard.
Yeah.
Little bit of concierge.
Yeah.
So
another beautiful hotel.
Great. Oh,
yeah,
gorgeous.
Stunning.
Yeah. And did that and then completed my second year and then worked for Blue Horizon.
Yeah.
And I'd worked for the Holiday Inn since I was 15 because I started there as their fitness attendant on West Broadway.
Okay.
And so I got into the hospitality back the love of people very early and sort of knowing the value of relationships in the industry before I even knew. It was just ingrained in me. And most of my friends, like I had a couple good friends in high school, but I wasn't a social butterfly in high school. I was like, just wanted to get out of high school. I didn't love it.
Where do you think that came from? You think it was like natured or nurtured? Like, are your parents very hospitable? Like, what drew you to it? Like, where do you think it came from?
My mom was Martha Stewart, like reincarnate. So she had so much talent. She was, she would sew, she would design her house. Architectural Digest was her Bible.
Yeah. So you were like adjacent to it from a young age, right? Like you're just around this.
My mom used to, like, when we were kids, she would dress us up in theatrical outfits and take pictures of us pretending we're cats. And she would dress, like cats would come to town and she would go, I can do that. So she would cover us with makeup and put us in leotards and get us in the forest at False Creek.
Come on.
Climbing through the rocks and she would take photos. And So cool. My mom was very creative. And my dad, is amazing, good man. He lives in UBC and great grandfather and great to still have him around because of course my mom's not, but
amazing.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, is it nurture or nature? And I think like when it sticks, it does come from something.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be learned, but I always say over the years, having seen different planners come through and seen the ones that did incredibly well, whether they stayed long-term or went off and started their own companies, versus the ones that were just like, this is not for me.
Right.
There's been enough of them where I can see patterns. And you just go, the ones that stick, they have it.
Right.
It's like they have the hustle gene, they have the business acumen, they have the creative gene, they have the people-pleasing gene.
Right.
They
the
have
zero
all
inbox gene, right? The organization piece.
They have it all. And some of them have it more things than others. Yeah. But if you're missing some of those key ones, you're not gonna last long term because it takes a real level of gumption and patience and just a willingness to serve.
Right.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's a service industry.
Yeah.
You're always dealing with a new personality, a new budget, new expectations, a new mother-in-law,
Yeah.
you know, all the things, right? So
Yeah.
you need to be good at
Yeah.
taking care of people.
Yeah. It really comes down to that.
Yeah.
I think in the wedding industry in general, no matter what your
Yes.
occupation or skill set is, like that's at the heart of what we do, right? We really, because it's like, as a server in a restaurant, you know, did you ever work in restaurants? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was a server at the Keg.
Bartender,
as we've
server.
talked about. Yeah. So like you're serving a table, right? And you know, you can serve that table, then you can kind of go on. But in the wedding industry, like you're really taking care of not just the thing, which would be like the food that you're serving, like you're taking care of their emotional well-being, right? You're taking care of this super important event. Like I always say to my couples, like, it's such a privilege. Like, I'm privileged that you're choosing me to be a part of your wedding. Like that amount of trust that they're saying, okay, like I'm going to have this person stand up at the front. I'm going to give them a microphone and I'm going to choose them to represent me in front of 100 of my closest friends and family on my wedding. Like that's a privilege. It's such a privilege.
You know what's interesting though is a lot of the time, and certainly there are some couples that think ahead and have that kind of forethought and you know, bigger understanding, but majority of couples don't give it that kind of thought.
No.
They just hire somebody because it's good reviews or it was recommended or whatever. So when you land, you know, you jackpot and you land the vendors that really do
embody it.
Yeah. Couples don't probably realize it till later.
Right.
Maybe later that day in the moment in the ceremony, but maybe later in life, how fortunate they were to have that kind of love and sort of passion around them.
That's great. Yeah. So 27 weddings your first year.
Yeah.
Like, what was that like? I just can't even imagine. Like, you're literally starting with a full book of clients immediately, and it's just two of you, or did you grow your team immediately?
It was the two of us, and we did every wedding together.
Sweet Jesus.
I know, but we were learning. Like, that was the thing. It was a learning curve. And so we had a lot of thank you actually to Sarah, because Sarah is very logistical and operations is like, she sleeps with operations in her brain.
Right.
And so she planned it in that everything we did, every wedding we did, at the end of every wedding that first year, we would sit in her backyard at the end of the night, and we had a notebook, an actual notebook.
Oh my God.
And we would write down. And we've carried it through because we try to do it now as much as we can, which is at the end of every wedding, what went well, what didn't go well, and what did we learn?
Yeah, what can we do better?
And we used to make notes of that. And that's the infrastructure of where DreamGroup was all of our, you know, our goals, when we started welcoming in planners, how we were able to communicate what was important and what we wanted, the values of the company. So that was integral, doing those weddings together and being busy and, you know, and yes, no kids, you have the time to do it. So, you know, didn't see our husbands and boyfriends much, but, you know, we did that, and it was really great. And then we ended up putting our prices up. And we also realized that if we did every wedding together, we would never make money. So we had to separate. So we separated our accounts, our clients.
Divide and conquer.
We put our price up because we were gravely undercharging.
But as a new vendor, though, like, but also as a new vendor, like, what you got that first year, you can't put a price on that, right?
And it was all part of the growth.
Absolutely. Like when I think about, like, when we first started, we charged $100, you know, to do an elopement. Like, it was just like $100. I would drive from Langley into Vancouver, do the wedding. Now that's my
per diem.
Drive back. But it was like, you get the reps, right? And I think as a new vendor, when you're coming in,
it's the reach that you get.
There's you can't put a price on that, right? Because you can really only learn so much from YouTube videos, books, you know, like, you kind of got to jump in and go for it, right?
Which we did.
Yeah, which you did. So you go through that first year, you do them all together.
And then we separate.
And then you separate. And what point you're like, we need to add people to this team?
I think we were, I want to say 2 or 3 years in.
Okay.
I think it was. I should have prepared.
No, that's okay.
But 2 or 3
years. It doesn't have to be exact.
But 2 or 3 years in. And we had one of our planners, I don't know if it was 3 years in, if she was our first. I don't think she was maybe our first, but she was very early on, was Tara Thorpe.
Okay.
Violet Grey. Creative. Yeah. So, and then she started, I think it was Forever True.
Yeah.
After. Yeah. So that was very early on.
Yeah. And then you had Erin and Corinne.
That's right.
They came to work for you at some point.
Yeah. Right? Erin did her interview. Sarah and I did interviews in the Blends coffee shop in Yaletown. Oh my God. That was our office for many years. Right. Sarah lived in Yaletown. And
free Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And we had a desk set up. It was like American Idol kind of, the desk
moving
set up.
Moving into the coffee shop.
And we had people come in and do the interviews, and it was cute. And Erin came in and she did something that no other, of course, person did, which was she showed up with her a cappella group Aliqua for her interview.
Come on.
And so she walks in her heels, perky Erin, beautiful, stands in front. She goes, if you're okay with it, I have something unique or something I want to do for you. And so Sarah and I
have not heard this story.
Sarah and I were like, okay, this is weird. And she goes out and she comes in with her girls and they all stand in front of us and she sings. I think there was 5 of them
in the coffee shop.
Yeah, standing in front of us. And they were singing, one song was like, I love coffee, I love tea. And they just did, because she was trying to stand out, right? She was just like, I need to get her attention. So
wow,
they did. She did.
Wow.
So she came on board, of course, and then moved into planning, and then we had Alicia shortly thereafter.
Yeah, Alicia Keats. Oh my gosh.
And I met her through. So there was a family friend of mine.
Yeah.
They had a vintage car company, and I guess the husband, I can't remember, but the couple was like, oh, we have our son's girlfriend really wants to get into weddings, and she ended up marrying Duncan, right? It's their family, right? So she wants to get into weddings, and would you consider bringing her in for an interview? And so we were sure. Going through the motions, because you get people sometimes asking, and then of course it's Alicia. Mm-hmm. So we welcomed her with open arms, and she was with us for a few years as well, and then planning, and then went off. And
wow,
I think she was the one that broke my heart when she did it the right way, but she came and sat down with Sarah and I, and she's like,
she's so sweet.
I think we were in the Milestones, I think, in Yaletown, and she's like, I want to start my own company, but I'm going to give you notice. And we were like, okay. Right. But it was done well, because she came and talked to us about it and was like, this is my plan. And, anyway.
Good for her. Yeah, there are bittersweet moments. Like I remember when Mark left, because you spend so much time like training and mentoring and open book, everything you've learned and developed, and you grow this person, and with the intention of like, hey, this is great. We got a member of our team, and they're growing. And then, when they leave, like it was hard at moments, right? It was hard. I had to do some real internal, because one, I'm sad, and I remember having moments of being angry, being like, really, like, I just spent all this time, energy, money growing, because he was our number one guy in Toronto. And, we had Google ads and places and connections and planners, and we just like, and I'm not in Toronto, I'm in Vancouver.
You're counting on him.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, you're our Toronto guy, and I'm like, support, mentor, like grow. Yeah. And then when he left, I was like, oh.
Because you're kind of like square one. You're like, what?
Don't go.
Yeah.
And I remember offering him more money. I was like, what if I give you more money? Will you stay? He's like, no, it's like my time has come. And I had to really, it was, I'm not going to lie, like it was hard. Yeah. It was hard. But, at the end of the day, he's built a beautiful life for himself and a beautiful business. And, it's just part of running a company and growing. And it's like any company, though, you can imagine, like people who started.
When you're not an owner.
Right.
Some people are gonna go off and either join the mainstream and do the 9 to 5, find their job, find their career. Other people are gonna go and start their own version of what you taught them.
Yeah.
And you can't I mean, sure, I'm human, so sometimes you were like, oh,
yeah, of course, right?
But for the most part, I can say with confidence, honesty and confidence that I never begrudged that.
Yeah.
Because that's life. Yeah. That's business. That's how it's going to go.
I begrudged it for a while, but then I realized that that was like about me.
Yeah.
Right? That was about me.
They don't owe you anything.
No,
really,
it was
right?
about me.
So,
and so when it's happened, it's happened a few times. And then at that point you're like, awesome. Like, because it doesn't do you any good. But it was challenging at times, right? To have people that you love and respect and grow and help and all this sort of stuff. But then now, I think after you go through it a few times, you just realize like, this is all part of it, right?
Yeah.
And if they want to move on, well, I don't want to hold them down or hold them back. Like that's, again, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, like I'm now a part of that story.
Yes.
Right. And then I was like, oh, okay, like that, I'm just a part of that story. But no, it was hard.
From a business standpoint, it's tricky because you're only one person. So you're trying, and Sarah's was only one person at the time. And we were mentoring and teaching because there wasn't like a school of wedding planning. Right. Like it wasn't like that. You didn't have a door filled with people coming in who were exceptional.
Right.
They had it.
Yeah.
And then
you got to nurture and develop the skill set.
Yeah. So you put all of that into it. And I think what ended up being really great for us is going back to the infrastructure, what we learned, and writing it down and having those sort of, like we have the list, like the 10 commandments, DreamGroup commandments of a wedding planner. And we've got the, the horror stories, what we learned. And I would write it down and we would have the articles so that the new planners, new people coming in could absorb it. Right. And whether they took it, that was determinant of how successful they are, right? But that was important, realizing that you can't just nurture one and put all your eggs in that basket. Yeah. If we wanted to grow, we needed to figure out a way to have many planners come in who got it, who knew what we were trying to accomplish, which was our orientation and our packages and everything that we did. Right.
So do you have that conversation with planners that come in? Like, so I'll just bring it back to me for a sec. So often when I'm hiring officiants now, like, I try to make it clear, I'm like, is this something that you want to do like as a full-time career, right? Is this, you're looking to make a career shift? Because if it is, sometimes I'm like, then you should just go out and do your own thing, right? Like, and then I really like to hire officiants that like have a passion or have like a day job, and then they want to do this because they love it and it's a great side hustle, right? Because, as a business owner too, like I don't want to have someone come in, spend a year with me, 2 years, build up a name in the industry, get all the trades, figure it all out, and be like, okay, sweet, I'm good. I got all my connections. So I struggle with that. And I wonder, to get your perspective on that, when you're hiring, are you looking for those qualities where like, oh, this person, they're going to go in this direction? Or are you just now at this stage, like, I'm just going to do my thing. And if they choose to go, like, do you mitigate against that as a business owner? Because it is somewhat of a risk, right? Where you're, to mitigate that risk of like training someone up, because we've had it before where someone, we learned they came in early on, they were with us like a year, got all their experience, and then gone. And it's like, oh, okay, like how do I mitigate against this? Because often for us, like an officiant, it's once they get to like year 2 or year 3, it's like they're golden. Like, they got all the connections, everyone knows them, they got lots of great reviews. Yeah. Right. We want them, we want longevity. We want someone to stay with us 5, we got officiants been with us over 10 years. Like that's what we want. Yeah. Right? Do you look for that when you hire planners?
I think it's changed over the years, of course, but I'd say in the last little while, last maybe decade, it becomes more about not asking somebody to be with you forever, but asking them to be incredible while they're with you. Right. Because it is about the brand, right? Like DreamGroup, if you ask most people, will say competent, caring,
you got a beautiful
accountable, strong planners that really care about what they're doing and understand how important the day is, and that it's not a game and it's not a joke, right? And so, or it's not just something to do for the summer, or, we've got career planners. So I have no problem bringing a planner in because our planners are contractors, right? So they need to have experience, and that makes them stronger.
Yeah.
So while they're wearing their DreamGroup hat, they need to be exceptional.
Right.
And that's why they're with us. Right. If they're not exceptional, they're not with us. And so it ends up being like totally fine. And it gives us room to actually have some great talent. Because if we were to just keep people that are only us and no one else, they're not growing.
Right.
They're not necessarily there by choice. So you want people who like love what they do, they're really good at it, but they're choosing to be under the umbrella and be a part of the success and a part of the philosophy of it. And yeah, so I think that that's more what you look for, is like strength and really good at the job. And also who want to be a part of something. Because they could do it on their own.
They could do it.
And they are. A lot of them do it on their own. And then, they sidestep, or they come in, whether it's they started on their own, but then it was a bit lonely.
Yeah.
Like we've had planners who go, it's lonely planning by yourself. And then they like the idea of being part of a team. And then we've had the opposite, where they started with us, grew with us, and then went, oh, I want to be in charge and out on my own. So there's all sorts of people, personalities. But I think in the end, it's just finding people that while they're wearing the DreamGroup hat and they're part of the team, that they want to be there, and that they want, and that they can do an incredible job. Because that makes the magic in our group.
Love it. Yeah, and you do have a lot of magic with your team.
We do.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah. So what was the biggest team you managed? Do you know?
How many we've had the highest? I think now is the highest. We're at, I feel like maybe 12, including Sarah and I.
Wow.
And we're at 11, including myself. So I think it's probably the biggest it's been. Wow. And we've gone up and down.
Yeah, as you do.
Like I think we had like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grew. Yeah, COVID. Went down. COVID. Actually, COVID was, we all hunkered down though. I didn't lose any planners. So, so it was good. It's a family.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is like building that culture. Was that the plan when you and Sarah got into this? Where you're like, we're going to build a big team.
Not right away.
No.
At least not for me. Right. No, I think it was, we were just young. We were ambitious. We were excited. It felt very, for me, it felt very organic. Because like I said, I wasn't planning to be a wedding planner. It found me.
Yeah.
And I like that. I'm a bit of a hippie in that way, elegant hippie, where I like the idea of the doors open when they're supposed to, and you meet the people that you're supposed to meet when you meet them. And I can say like, the people who have been mentors in my life, from back in Holiday Inn, right through to Brockhouse, to Ursula as a wedding planner, to my boss, at Holiday Inn, so many people.
Right.
I can actually chart the path that they moved me on. Like I can see it. And I love that. And I think that that's, very much how DreamGroup came about. It was very organic. And I think it just makes sense to grow, because otherwise you work until you're, like Sarah and I used to joke, we used to go, we can't be 65-year-old wedding planners. Like we have to have something else. So we've tried many things over the years. Like we did the academy, DreamGroup Academy, which people email me all the time. They're like, are you going to do that again? When are you starting those classes? And I keep thinking in my head, I'm like, it's going to be my retirement plan, I think, because we did that and put so much. I love teaching. I love it. I love it so much. And I think it's reflective of why I love having the planners and being able to help people when they need it. And whether it's a couple or my planners, helping. Teaching is helping and inspiring and sharing your knowledge and, all of that. So I loved teaching the academy. But the problem with it was we taught too many people our secrets in our own backyard. So, and it's a small city. Yeah. So, but we'll probably do it again. I have enough people saying they would want it.
Global community. Like this is the thing. When I think about, like, you've built such a successful business and had such longevity, right? Yeah. Like, 21 years.
We have the recipe.
Yeah, right? Like, I just imagine how many planners are out there that maybe would be watching this, like, that are like, I want to learn from this, because you can't put a price tag on the experience you have. Like, you've literally seen it all. Mind you, every time I think I've seen it all, I'm like, haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Like, things come up, but I can definitely see you, evolving into that and offering that skill set and knowledge. And I think it's probably, I love to hear that it's still on the back burner, kind of simmering away.
I think a big part of the thing with the school and the teaching is you can have knowledge. Like, so somebody could say they've been in the business forever, they have all this experience.
Right.
But I think that if you're going to be a good teacher, you need to know how to tell the stories.
Yeah.
And you need to know how to tell them with passion and excitement and belief in the greater good of what you're doing, because that's inspiring, right? And that to me would be the reason to do it. It's not just to turn a buck or to, teach, because you can find out the tasks of how to be a planner anywhere. It's the passion and the ultimate goal to understand your purpose as a planner, because we're not performing brain surgery. It's not rocket science. It's
but it's nuanced, thing. Right?
But it's nuanced, and it can be very special, or it can be just checkboxed.
Right.
And we want it to be very special. And I want people who do that for other people to make it very special.
Right. So when you think back on, Genève, when you're starting out, you're leaving Brockhouse, you and Sarah get going. Like, what advice, knowing everything you know now, this is a question I've asked to a lot of the guests, going back there, is that my phone going off? Oh my gosh. Can you believe that? This is like the cardinal sin for a wedding officiant, to not turn your phone off. Likely fraud.
I actually want that ringer. It's
likely fraud, the Kill Bill. Likely fraud. Sorry about that. At least it wasn't during a wedding.
No, that's right.
We had an officiant once that we fired because his phone went off in the span of one season 3 times during a wedding. And we were like,
come on.
We were like, sorry, bud. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's called silent. Put your phone on silent.
Those are the cardinal sins as a wedding officiant. Your phone ringing at a wedding, and getting the couple's names wrong.
Ooh.
Those are the things.
That's happened to me once.
Yeah, those are the things that, are almost unforgivable as a wedding officiant. All right, so you think back on yourself, what advice would you give to yourself as you're just starting from this perspective? So if you think back when you started, like, what advice would you want to impart on her as she's kind of going on this crazy journey?
Well, different hats or different thoughts there. I would say to my inner child that needed to be nurtured, I would say, don't worry so much about what everybody else thinks. Power through and just do what I ended up doing.
Right.
I did
you
end
figured
up doing
it out.
But it was full of anxiety and strife along the way. So I think, like, if I had a magic wand to be able, like, to take away the anxiety.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, that's what made me good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that sounds,
it makes perfect
honestly,
sense.
It's what made me cautious and work extra hard and be extra aware of everything. And so I would just say, give yourself a bit of a break in that if you're meant to do something and you work really hard and you're nice to people, like all the things that your parents, a good parent teaches their kids, like, be nice to people, be honest, work hard and be kind, honest, kind, work hard, and it'll pay off. And even if it doesn't pay off in the path that you're on there, all of that is building blocks of relationships, experience. Life will help you on the next path, the door that opens that's not the one that you thought.
Yeah, there's no substitute, right? Like, when you're going through those growing pains and that hard stuff, like, in the moment you're like, oh, why do I gotta go through this? Or why do I keep struggling with this thing? Or why can't I figure this out? Like, all the questions we ask ourselves as entrepreneurs. But when you kind of crest that mountain and you come to the other side, you're like, oh yeah, I needed the path. Like,
if it was easy, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and it's like the struggle is the way, right? Like, you can't just jump from here to here.
No.
Like, you you have to go through the struggles and the challenges, because through that
and the conversations
and you gotta make the mistakes, right? And be like, oh man, I really shouldn't have done that. And like you know, there's like, you can't wave that magic wand and just
there's no substance.
Because it's not like, I heard a great quote on a podcast. They were talking about, I think, Rory McIlroy, and it was like, oh, it'd be great to be Rory. Like, look at him, you know. He's like, you don't want to be him. Do you know how many birthday parties he's missed? How many nights he's gone to bed early? How many mornings he's gotten up? Right? How many things he's sacrificed? Like the lack of soul. Oh, like, if you knew everything that he had gone through to get to, all you see is this. You're like, I want to be that. You're like, do you really want to? Because guess what? This is what it's going to require. All of this. You're like, oh, maybe I don't really want to do that, right? So it's like you have to go through all that to get to kind of where you are.
Yeah.
You know? So if you think about, go ahead, you first.
No, I was going to say, you know, one thing that has come up for me throughout my life is a difference in running the company. Like, you know, so Sarah and I went our separate ways in late 2017. Yeah. And it was very bittersweet in that DreamGroup wouldn't be DreamGroup without what we did together and her involvement in it. Yeah. But for us, it was the right decision at that time. But one of the big things, and I think there's a learning in here for people starting out. Because you got me thinking.
Yeah.
Sarah was always very logistical, very map it out, plan it out, needs to know box A, B, C, what could happen. Let's talk about it. What directions could things go? And again, a huge part of the strength of DreamGroup. I have always been very, how does it feel? And those are different kinds of ways to run a business. And if I had to go back, I think I would give a little more time to mapping it out and planning it out a little bit. But I don't regret the feeling. This just feels like the right thing to do. We got to do it. Yeah. And because we did that many times where we would just plow through and we were like, that's the thing to do without sort of looking into it and over analyzing it. And a lot of those things ended up sticking and being the infrastructure and the groundwork for what DreamGroup is. So I would say to people starting out is, yes, have a plan. Don't be all lofty. Right. Because you can't sort of grow long term if you just have a whole bunch of bell balls in the air and you're just whipping through. But also, like, take those chances, take those risks, listen to yourself. You know, if something gets you excited, it'll get other people. Chances are it'll get other people excited. You just need to learn how to share it so that they can get excited too. So I would say that's a big thing.
Yeah, one of the things that I struggle with is like, there's no shortage of information, and I can be like an information whore. Like I could get fixated on something. I'm like, okay, how do I do this the absolute best way? And this podcast is like a really great example of that. Like I've wanted to start this for years, probably over a decade. And I've told many people, I'm going to do a podcast, I'm going to do a podcast. And I never did it, and I never did it, and I never did it. And I would buy a course. I bought this Podcaster's Paradise, how to start a podcast. And then I bought some microphones, and I would do all these things and be like, oh no, I don't have it all planned out, or don't have it all planned out. And then it just became a time when I was like, it was actually, we did a little round table.
For Engaged.
With you, me, Esther, Jasmine, Shia, and we all sat around and we just talked. Yeah. And it was that, and then...
That wasn't that long ago.
No, not that long ago. Yeah. And it was Shia, thank you, he was on the show. He sent out all the clips. Yeah. And I was like, these are great. And we just put a few clips up on our Instagram of just talking, and people were super engaged with them. And I was like, I just need to do this. I just need to do it. Like there does come a time where it's like, stop planning. Yeah,
just do.
And go for it and trust that you will figure it out, because you don't know the roadblocks you're going to face. You don't know
even
what you're doing.
Even if you plan them.
Even if you plan them, right? It's like planning a wedding, right? You just don't know what you're going to run into. And I think in this information age, there's no shortage of information. You want to find out how to be a great wedding planner, how to be a great wedding officiant. The information overfloweth from every ounce of the internet.
Yeah.
But at some stage, you have to decide, I'm going to go for this.
Do it.
And do it. And I love what you said about leading with your heart, because it's been something I've always wanted to do. But it's like, that's weird. Like, it was scary. And now that, I phoned Simon. I was like, okay, Simon, I'm going to do this podcast. And I talked to the Fling Room, like, can we use your venue? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, we're just going to do it. I don't know. I got a plan. We're going to figure it out. Yeah. Right. And as we're going through this, like, we're figuring it out. And there does come a stage where it's just like, if you want to do it, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
Right. And you got to trust that you're going to hit roadblocks and there's going to be challenges and it's not going to be perfect.
And you also need to know, like, it may not stick.
And it may not stick.
And
but
that's not a reason not to do it.
No, because then you'll know,
yeah.
All right,
yeah,
we did it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. Didn't work. Mm-hmm. I don't like this thing, whatever. But it's like,
or it'll adapt.
Or it'll
be a little part, like a little spark of what you threw at the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, that didn't work, but let's pivot.
Yeah, and I thought about it for so many years and it never left, right? Like, I always wanted to do it. Like, the desire was always there.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, so here we are. And awesome. But so it was a big part of it was that round table that we had. And I was like, that was fun.
That was fun.
And it felt good and it felt easy. And I was like, people were getting value from it. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this.
I think vendors, when they are given the opportunity and they're not working in the midst of the nutty of a wedding day or an event, they have so much to share. And certain vendors more than others as far as their ability to articulate it. But when you've got people sitting around who all feel really excited about what they do, we felt it.
Yeah, we felt it.
There was that energy, right? And it was captured.
Yeah, it was captured.
I didn't love myself on camera, though.
Yeah,
I hate it.
You're always behind the scenes. You're always behind the scenes.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, it does take a while to get used to being on camera. So, someone watches this, or there's a new planner who's starting, or maybe they're doing a side hustle. Like, what type of, without giving away too many secrets, like what advice would you impart on them in this day and age? Like, I want to get into wedding planning.
I would say take a good course just so that you have the basics, because there's a lot that people don't realize that a planner does that we have to do. It's the less fun parts.
Right.
But it's there and it needs to happen.
Right.
Because you can't just be the fun flowers, get excited, jump up and down planner, because they don't last. Those planners don't last.
Right.
The ones that last are the ones that actually know what the job is.
Right.
And it's a job.
And execute it well.
Yes. And then there's the, ability to hear people and make people feel heard. And then that's the natural part I was saying. Like, not everyone has that ability. So then if you've got that, you can pair all of that. So I would say if you're starting out, cover your bases, get a good course. If you wanted to sort of emulate the success of my path, because I think it's a good formula, which is get into the industry.
Right.
So work for a florist, a rental company, a catering company,
or assist as a planner.
A hotel. Yes, but that might have to come, right?
Right. Like, you might not get that right away.
And as an assistant as an assistant on the day, you only see the last piece of the puzzle.
Right.
You're seeing the pretty and all the hard work come together, which is awesome, but you're not really learning about what the job of a planner is. So where you're going to see that, the job of a planner, either directly because you're going to be witnessing other planners in action, which might happen. But more importantly, if you're working as a coordinator in a hotel, like a sales coordinator in a hotel that does weddings, or a catering company that does weddings, or a rental company that does a lot of weddings, you're seeing the back end. Right. You're hearing the conversations. You're seeing the couple come in, whether they're with a planner or not, but formulating the path of how something develops, how it evolves, how you influence the decision. And then you're seeing how things play out and how that catering experience went, for the good and the bad. And with every experience, not as a planner, just being a fly on the wall, so to speak, of all of those moments, you're sharpening your skill set. Right. And you're just becoming so much better without even realizing it. You're becoming so much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would say if you really, you think you want to be a wedding planner, great, because you just don't know what path. Maybe that'll be an event planner. Maybe you'll end up, like when we used to teach when I taught the academy, I had people come in there. I had like accountants, lawyers, bankers, police officer. Like I had people come there who were like, I want to be a wedding planner. Yeah. And they just like, they were like, there was the calling they never explored.
Right.
And half of them just were like, that was fun. I'm going back to my real job.
I'm good.
You scared me enough. And then the other ones, go and move on and love it. And they're just like, they can't wait to get into it. But the best success comes from doing. And so I would say to new people, cover your bases with a course, get into the industry, get dirty, make develop relationships, watch how things are done, not just as a planner, but as a cake maker, as a decorator, as a florist, as a photographer. Pay attention to those things. Because then that paired with the right personality to be a planner, which whether you work for someone else or work for yourself, you are working for yourself. Because I don't stand over my planners and go, how did you answer that email? How did you answer that phone call? Did you do this? I mean, you have to run your client. You're running the client. You're running the event. So you need to be good at that. So that all paired, that would be my suggestion. And sure, if you can get a job working with a planner, that's great. But that doesn't have to be the thing.
Right. What distinguishes like a good planner from like a really great planner? Like what are you looking for when someone comes to you and you're like, they're going to be a great planner? Like what are you looking for specifically?
Nurturing. I mean, there's many, what's the word I'm looking for? But skill sets, personality traits, right? But I would say people that are at the core nurturing and really care about people.
Yeah.
Then the next step is, are you organized? Are you a good communicator? Are you good at promoting yourself? Like there's all those things. But at the core of it is, are you a kind, nurturing person? Because I think that that's what people feel and they're going to be drawn to. Yeah. But as far as like a good planner versus, I mean, the planners that wouldn't work out over the years or that I've seen, whether they were with DreamGroup or other companies or, stories, the planners that don't work out are the ones that crumble under the stress. They don't know how to stay on top of the minutia and the tasks. Because we always say like a great planner stays ahead of your client. So I remember having
that's a great.
Well, I remember, Well, I remember having a planner, and she was wonderful many, many years ago. But I had to say to her, "You're not their personal assistant. You are their leader." Yeah. And that's the thing as a planner is you're not there to run alongside them and be like, "This is pretty, don't you think?" You're there to lay the coat down on the puddles before they hit them and go.
Before they even know they're there.
And go, okay, so these are your options. This is the great option. This is the good option. Go with one of these. Oh, what about this one? Probably not your best option, but you're helping people before they get to the roadblock or get to the decision. And you're not always going to be able to do that because sometimes you have clients that are like running fast and they're like, we're doing this and I was up all night and blah, 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 blah. But you can slow that down and you always need to be in control because if the second you let it get out of control, you've compromised the quality, you've compromised their enjoyment of the process. Because in the end, you know better. You know how to control the conversation that are coming, the conversations that are coming and the decisions that are going to need to be made. And they should happen in certain orders because things lead to other things. So so I would say good planners understand the objective, the goal, and map it out and are ahead of them.
It's what you said there, that you're not their assistant, you're their leader.
Yeah.
I've never heard it framed that way, but when I think about the planners that I've worked with that are great, execute beautiful weddings, they're this right combination of like kind, caring, compassionate, but also strong
Authoritative.
Leadership and authoritative without being bitchy, right? Like, and I've worked with planners that are bitchy, and the energy is they're mean to vendors. They're short with the parents sometimes, and the whole energy, like pre-ceremony, I'm like
That's
oh
my worst nightmare.
It's not fun.
No.
But the ones that are great, you're so right. They're leading, right? They're not just. And they're not just leading the couple.
No.
They are leading the vendors. They're setting the tone. They have a plan that they're executing.
It's the ultimate, I got this.
Yeah, but in a nice way. But they're also not micromanaging. You know, sometimes I'll show up to a rehearsal with a planner, and they don't want to hear from me at all. They're like, this is how I do things, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, we haven't maybe met before or worked together before. And I'm like, you know, I've done 1,600 weddings. Like, you know, we could work on this together. Yeah. Right. And they're just not having it. And that energy is not conducive to a full wedding experience. It actually causes more strain and stress than it does breathe life into everything.
It depletes the magic.
That word keeps coming up. It really is true. Is like you are magicians in that you do conjure magic through, you know, well execution, good communication, a plan, but also
respect of the
this
industry.
Ability to dance in the moment. Yeah. Right? Like you've got a great plan, but the ones that are able to pivot in the moment and make light of things that maybe aren't going right and don't get flustered and stressed. Like it's very evident to me when I go to a wedding with a new planner or versus one that, you know, is experienced, or maybe a new planner that I'm like, they're going to be amazing, right? Like
they just need just more weddings under their belt.
Yeah. Or maybe they need to not be in this, right? Because I've worked with some that are really hard to deal with. And I'm like, oof, like this was not, I didn't enjoy working with that person, right?
And that's usually, I mean, in my experience, when a planner does that, it's never bad intention. It's just stress.
Overwhelmed.
They're overwhelmed and they're maybe didn't have the same connection with their couple or with the family. Yeah. And so they feel like the tiniest little screw up is going to just come back to bite them in the ass. Right. So then they're extra on alert and tight and stressed and then it comes out.
I always tell my couples, like at the rehearsal, I'm always like, okay, you guys are now firmly on the roller coaster and the lap bar is down. Yep. You are going up now. There's no getting off. Yeah. And probably everything won't go exactly as planned. Yeah. But the couples that do well, they put their hands up
and just roll
and enjoy the ride. Yeah. And so I just want to encourage you, enjoy this process moving forward. Yeah. Roll with the punches. Don't be checking the weather. Figure it out. You know, you're going to go with it. And
you've planned it. Hopefully up to now, you've planned it.
Yeah. So now you just roll. Please enjoy it because
that would be the worst.
It happens sometimes, right? People, you know, whether like a strap breaks on a dress or the flowers get delivered and they're wrong. Yeah. And it's the couples that are able to be like, oh, well, you know, versus like, oh, what am I going to do? Right. But good planners also are able to come in with that couple and be like, it's okay. Yeah. We got this, not a big deal. Versus like, I can't believe they, you know, it's like
getting mad along with them.
Yeah. It's really true about the leadership piece, right? Yeah. Like you are the leader of the wedding.
But at the same time, you don't want to be that planner. I just thought of this. You don't want to be that planner who, let's say the bouquet is wrong, which our florists would never do that. Right. But let's say the bouquet is wrong for that example. A planner who's just like, oh, well, you know, the day's here. And sort of makes light of it.
Curt with them or whatever.
Or just be like, well, there's nothing we can do about it now. Right. That's equally as bad in my mind.
Right.
But yes, you don't want to be like angry and, you know, somebody's going to pay and all of this,
so
right?
Nuanced.
You want to find that balance. So you want to go, we're going to solve this.
Right.
No stress.
Yeah.
No worries.
I got
We're going to solve this.
Yeah.
And then you get on the phone and you be like, I need this stat right now.
Right. Yeah,
and you're making it happen, right? So it's, you know, keeping the calm, but making people feel heard, not dismissing their feelings, but also not blowing it up. right?
Yeah. There's so much to it.
There is
so much to it.
You know what I remember years ago? So we've done a few sizzles over the years.
Yeah. Sizzle?
Like TV networks.
Oh, right.
Who wanted to do
Totally.
shows
Yeah,
about
breakfast
wedding
television.
planning.
Yeah.
No, like actual shows. Like they wanted to do wedding planning shows. Like follow the wedding planning company.
I filmed a reality series.
Did you?
Did I tell you about this?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
you go
you tell
first.
me.
No, you go first, and then I'll tell you mine. Mine's a horror story.
Okay. Well, I think we did 2 or 3 over the years.
Yeah.
And first one, we were like, wow, this is cool. We're going to, we might be famous.
Right.
Like we were very young and, and it went so bad because we didn't have a voice and we just let guys in suits dictate what they thought a wedding planning show should be.
Right.
And the show was, it was filmed, I don't know if this is before your time. Do you remember Upright Decor?
No.
Colin Upright?
No.
Okay, so he was a staple in the wedding industry.
Sure.
He was the guy, the decorator. Everybody knew him in the wedding industry. And so we were like, okay, can we shoot it? Because the network was like, where can we shoot this?
Right.
So we called Colin, we said, can we shoot it at your shop? Yes, after hours.
Right.
So we do this whole thing, and then they were like, do you know a good florist?
Right.
Evan from Concept was just starting out. So we were like, yeah, we brought him in. And they wanted us to be setting a table because we're wedding planners and that's what we do. So we set tables, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not our job. Right. So they were like, yeah, we want you to set the table and be talking about things while you're setting the table. And then we want the florist to walk in and we want you to freak out at him because it's the wrong centerpiece.
Oh my gosh.
This was the premise of the show. And everything in my body was like, no, this is wrong.
Right.
But we're doing it because we're young and there's guys in
TV,
suits.
and you're like, I gotta get a deal. Yeah.
And makeup, everything's done. And we're like, okay. And it just felt so, I probably ruined it because I was not there.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
well, and rightly so.
And they're like, get mad at him and tell him, don't get it out of here and don't come back till it's right. And I'm like, I would never talk to my vendors like that, number one. Number two, I would communicate well as a planner so they wouldn't show up with the wrong flowers at the wedding.
Would make you look so bad.
I was like, there's so many things wrong with this.
But the way that you plan a wedding would not be good TV.
No.
Because it'd be too smooth.
That's right. That's right. It's too good.
So
let's do that. Yeah.
The show that they had me do was for MTV.
Yeah.
And it was a couple that was together, and neither of their parents wanted them to be together. Okay, so partner one's parents didn't want them dating partner two. Partner two's parents didn't want them dating partner one.
Okay.
So the whole premise of the show was that they were going to try to get their parents on board with their relationship.
Okay.
So the couple goes to counseling and like out for dinner with partner one's parents, and then they see a therapist together, and they have this whole conversation. This is not, I wasn't a part of this one. And then they do another date with partner two's parents, with the couple, and they see a counselor and they talk about the relationship. And then they bring both parents together and all 6 of them go out, and then they see a counselor together, and they have, so.
Sounds like a kind of a good show.
Well, yeah, and then also conflict, right? Yeah. So there's conflict. And so during that last meeting where they're having dinner with all of them, they ask the parents, do you support our relationship? And the parents would either say, yes, we do, or no, we don't. And the parents were like, no, we don't support this relationship. We're like, well, we're getting married right now. And then...
Right there.
Right, and then the drapes open, and there is me, and the wedding is going to happen. Do you want to stay for our wedding or not? And the parents walked out.
Oh my God.
And then the couple got married, and I was doing this wedding. I was like, this is
this is bad television.
This is
like,
this is wrong. I do not want. I was like, because the couple's like upset, and then the camera crew runs off, and they're like, stop the wedding. The camera crew runs off, and there's like filming the parents like walking down the driveway to their car, and I was like, ugh. Luckily, it didn't get picked up. It didn't air. But same with me. I was like, oh yeah, I want to be on this new reality show on MTV doing weddings. Like, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah. Like I went to Michigan and went to this beautiful venue, and there's camera crews.
It's almost
makeup,
like that's the most fun part.
And there's like wardrobe, and like I'm working on the script, and like, and then it happened, and I was like, well, and then they decided we don't want to do our vows. And I was like, oh man, like this is goes against everything that I want to do.
Yeah.
I never saw the episode. It was a pilot. It obviously didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere out there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, again, like you, right?
It wasn't bringing goodness to the world.
No, and mind you, if both parents were on board,
it would have been.
It could have been beautiful.
Yeah,
but
it's just exposing personal sad.
It's just those realities, so much conflict, right? Yeah. It's because I don't know.
It makes good TV. Yeah.
This was amazing.
Yeah. Are we done?
We're let's wrap it up. Yeah, that was
that
like almost
fast.
90 minutes.
90 minutes, my gosh.
I told you, you forget you're even on camera.
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks for coming. I love you. I love working with you.
Thank
you so much
for asking.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for listening to the Friendors podcast, the podcast by wedding vendors for wedding vendors. I'm your host, Shawn Miller, signing off. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to us if you would follow, subscribe, and perhaps share it with a fellow wedding vendor who could use some inspiration or simply a good laugh. Want the Friendors podcast to come to your city? Drop us a comment below and let us know. Until next time, keep learning and keep creating amazing weddings that feel better than they look. See you in the next one.